What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Hologram. Give you a quick overview of what happened on Friday and why the SEC is kind of dropping the ball. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Hologram did pull back, went down 21.72%. So a little bit of a pain for that. $4.50 the low, $5.41 the high. 29.62 million for volume, 21.3 is the average. So that's kind of your answer right there on why it kind of stopped going up. Lack of volume. And it's just not necessarily just with Holo. A lot of different other stocks out there, spec plays, weren't really getting the same amount of volume. On the secondary market though, you did have still two transactions on the secondary market above $100,000. One buy for 640 and then one sell for 120. So at least big money is somewhat looking at Hologram. Again, as I've brought up in the past, for those of you that have been watching me for a while, normally there's not even one transaction on this kind of exchange for like the last 90 days. So at least big money is still kind of looking at it. So that's somewhat of a positive note, but no actual news associated to Hologram on Friday. And a lot of people as well have been really looking at WIMI as well for correlation, because essentially if you look at what Hologram just announced, so ticker HOLO, about them transitioning and pivoting to quantum, the chances that WIMI did the exact same thing on the 26th is very, very random. So once again, adding some somewhat validity to there being some future partnership. So Hologram has the fundamental business and Hologram has the cash. So it kind of makes a little bit of perfect sense. But when it comes to this right here, this might not seem like much, it's kind of all mumbled numbers, but this is the SSR, so short sale restriction list. And so every time you do see this, so I'll kind of zoom in a little bit more. So you see MicroCloud Hologram, it was triggered on this date, so on the 3rd at 9:30 a.m. So what does that mean? Anytime a stock is down by more than 10%, shorts cannot increase, they can only return. So usually this is why it kind of limits the bloodbath of a stock. But if we kind of look at what shorts did, net, they did return 141,000 shares, 22.33% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 4.56 million shares, cost of our average 23.14, all fine and dandy. But if we kind of look at the actual what happened on the intraday, this teal line right here, so at 1900 or 1930 GMT, you can kind of see shorts did increase. That type of scenario, you shouldn't see any upward kind of movement right here. That does insinuate shorts increasing. That should not be occurring while on this list. So this is where essentially the SEC and potentially market makers are dropping the ball. And the reason why it's market makers is because when it comes to the SEC, they need to enforce this. So it is SEC Rule 201. So that's that uptick rule. And so that type of scenario should not be playing out. So I just wanted to kind of pop on, bring that up and just give you a quick summary of what is happening with Hologram. As I've stated, if there is a potential merger, you should see this, the stock price, gravitate towards the true actual book value of cash. And so right now market cap is 119.16 million. They roughly have 150, subtract, let's say they burnt through 10 million this last quarter. So it is fair to assume that they have roughly around 140 million in cash and cash equivalents. So technically there should be a little bit more upside based on this. But again, sometimes, well, I guess if you take that for face value, Hologram's been trading at a pretty discounted price for an extended period of time. But I think to be fully fair, I always like to play devil's advocate, of course. I think the company just does it to themselves. The fact that they kind of waited, what was it, like almost a good year just between their PRs, that is just completely on them, 1000%. Hopefully their management, like I said in previous videos, isn't just completely stupid and they realize what actually the market values. So they put out news and it goes up 100+%. Clearly the market wants news. And so what are you doing with that 100 and something million in cash equivalents? So I think if they continue the updates, then you could see a very definite short squeeze. So this is just a very quick summary on potentially what might be coming, such as a merger, why the SEC is dropping the ball, give you a quick summary on shorts and whatever else, and things that you need to know. But as far as this, take all this with a grain of salt for support and resistance points, because typically for momentum stocks, it doesn't always jive. But as far as $4.35, that is going to be that next strong support, followed by 318, 278, 201. So just take note of some of those for support points, and then hopefully won't be tested, and you'll just see a lot of capital and big money getting into hologram, propelling it higher. So let me know your viewpoint on hologram. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. And then one final thing I wanted to share with you, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments. I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.